Dracaena, trifasciata, Laurenti. The variety most people picture the moment someone says snake plant. Its leaves are edged in a wide band of creamy yellow that runs the full length of each blade, wrapping a dark green center like factory packaging. Officially, this plant hasn't been a Sansevieria since 2017, when botanists folded the whole genus into Dracaena, but nobody updated the plant tag at the hardware store, so the old name refuses to die. Laurenti tolerates near total neglect, low light, irregular watering, the kind of care schedule usually reserved for regret, and it will still push up new leaves eventually. Its only real enemy is overwatering, which turns the roots to mushy faster than almost any other houseplant on the market. This is the variety that convinced an entire generation of renters they had a green thumb. It also propagates easily from leaf cuttings, though cuttings of variegated Laurentii tend to grow back plain green. So division is the safer bet if you actually want the yellow trim to survive. Dracaena trifasciata, Hahnii, commonly sold as the bird's nest snake plant. Instead of tall upright blades, Hahnii grows in a tight rosette that rarely exceeds 8 inches tall, the leaves curling inward like a shell, rather than reaching for the ceiling. It was discovered as a natural mutation in the 1930s and has been propagated from that same genetic quirk ever since, meaning every bird's nest snake plant in circulation is essentially a clone with a very old family tree. Its compact size makes it a favorite for desks and shelves, where a full-size Laurenti would look like it wandered in from a different room. Growth is slow, even by snake plant standards, so patience is part of the deal. Even at full maturity, it rarely needs repotting more than once every couple of years, since it seems to actively prefer being a little root-bound. Dracaena trifasciata, Moonshine, a solid block of pale silvery sage with almost no patterning at all. Where most snake plants show stripes, mottling, or banding, Moonshine's leaves are nearly uniform, giving it a washed-out, moonlit look that made it a minor Instagram celebrity a few years back. That flat color isn't a sign of stress. It's the whole point of the cultivar, though new leaves tend to emerge darker before fading to their signature pale tone. Moonshine still wants the same dry soil, bright indirect setup as its cousins, but its thinner leaves are slightly more prone to sunburn if moved into direct sun too quickly. Think of it as the snake plant equivalent of forgetting sunscreen on the first sunny day of the year. It's also one of the more widely propagated cultivars in recent years, which has pushed its price down to roughly the same range as a standard Laurenti. Dracaena trifasciata, black coral, sometimes labeled black gold, depending on the grower, and bred for leaves so dark green they read as black under normal indoor lighting. The color deepens with more light exposure, so a plant kept in a dim corner will actually look greener than one given a bright spot near a window, which makes it one of the rare houseplants where more light is a style choice rather than a survival requirement. Black coral keeps the same broad, upright blade shape as the classic snake plant. It just swapped the wardrobe for something moodier. Collectors chase the darkest specimens the way people chase deep red roses, and pricing tends to climb with how close the leaf gets to true black. Otherwise, care is identical to every other trifasciata. Dry soil, bright indirect light, and an ability to survive being ignored for a month. Wipe the dust off occasionally, since dark leaves show it far more obviously than lighter varieties do. Dracaena angolensis, better known as the cylindrical or African spear snake plant, and immediately recognizable because its leaves are round rather than flat. Each spear grows straight up like a green pencil, sometimes reaching 3 or 4 feet. And the plant is often sold pre-braided, with growers weaving the young spears together while they're still flexible enough to bend. That braiding is purely cosmetic. The plant doesn't care either way, but it does make Cylindrica one of the more expensive snake plants on a per-pot basis. The rounded leaves store even more water than the flat-leafed varieties, which means overwatering is, once again, the fastest way to kill it. It's a plant that looks like it was designed in a wind tunnel and somehow still ends up in office lobbies because there's no flat blade to catch dust or hide pests. Cylindrica also tends to stay cleaner and lower maintenance than its flat-leafed relatives. Dracaena trifasciata, twist, frequently sold under the nickname twisted sister, a mutation of the Hahnii rosette, where the leaves spiral and curl instead of growing in a neat, orderly shell shape. No two twist plants curl exactly the same way, which growers usually present as a feature rather than the genetic inconsistency it technically is. It shares Hahnnii's small footprint and slow growth rate, so it works well in the same tight spaces, just with noticeably more personality per square inch. Some specimens show light variegation along the twisting edges, though it's less consistent than in named striped cultivars. It is, in short, what happens when a plant that already had one mutation decides to have another. Because the twisting is unpredictable, sellers usually photograph and price each plant individually, rather than by a standard size chart. Dracaena masoniana, sold under the far more marketable name, whalefin, or sharkfin snake plant. Instead of clustering into multiple narrow leaves, masoniana usually produces just 1 to 3 enormous paddle-shaped blades per plant, each one capable of growing over 2 feet long and wide enough to look almost fake. That single, dramatic leaf is the entire appeal. It functions less like a houseplant and more like a piece of living sculpture. Because it channels most of its energy into that one giant leaf, growth is glacially slow, and losing that leaf to damage or rot can set the plant back by years. Whalefin also commands a higher price tag than almost any other snake plant variety, which feels appropriate for something built like a single green surfboard. Even a small nick near the base can end up scarring the entire leaf permanently, so this is not the plant to keep near a doorway or a curious cat. Dracaena trifasciata, Bantel's sensation. One of the rarer variegated forms, marked with thin white vertical stripes running the length of otherwise green leaves. Unlike the yellow-edged varieties, Bantel's sensation keeps its white striping toward the center and edges alike, giving it a more scattered, frosted appearance rather than a clean border. It also tends to grow slightly slower and stay smaller than standard green varieties, likely because variegated tissue produces less chlorophyll and therefore less energy for the plant to work with. Propagating it from leaf cuttings is a gamble, since cut leaves of variegated snake plants usually revert to solid green, so division of the rhizome is the only reliable way to keep the striping intact. And even then, a few offsets will inevitably come back plain green anyway. It's a plant that punishes shortcuts, which feels thematically appropriate for something this fussy about being pretty. Its slower growth also means mature specimens command a real premium compared to the solid green species it mutated from. Dracaena, Fernwood maccado, a hybrid that fuses the rounded, water-storing leaves of the cylindrical snake plant with a looser, fan-like arrangement instead of tight braided spears. Each leaf curves outward on its own path, rather than growing perfectly straight, giving Fernwood maccado a more relaxed, almost sculptural silhouette compared to the stiff uniformity of standard Cylindrica. It shares the same drought tolerance as every round-leafed snake plant, since those thick cylindrical leaves are basically built-in canteens, and it can go several weeks without water, without showing any real signs of complaint. Fernwood maccado remains less common in general retail, which keeps its price higher than most trifasciata varieties, despite requiring the exact same bare minimum care. Dracaena Aaron-bergii, marketed as the Blue Sansevieria, and about as far from the average houseplant aisle as this genus gets. Its leaves grow in a wide, flat fan, rather than upright spears, colored in a dusty blue-green that looks almost powdered, with faint reddish edging on some specimens. It naturally occurs in only a narrow strip of arid habitat in East Africa, and slow propagation, combined with genuine rarity, keeps prices high among collectors, sometimes rivaling or exceeding whalefin pricing for a single mature plant. Aaron-bergii demands exceptionally sharp drainage, even more than its cousins, since its native range gets rain in short bursts rather than steady moisture. It is essentially the snake plant that skipped the starter tier entirely and went straight to expensive. Most sellers propagate it slowly by division rather than leaf cuttings, since the fan-shaped growth habit doesn't lend itself to the usual shortcuts, which only adds to the wait time and the price tag, and explains why it shows up far more often on specialty plant forums than at a neighborhood nursery. From the bulletproof Laurenti on a windowsill to a blue Aaron-bergii guarded like a piece of jewelry, the entire genus runs on the same basic formula: thick, water-hoarding leaves, a tolerance for bad decisions, and just enough variation in color and shape to turn a low-maintenance houseplant into a full-blown collecting habit. What starts as one plant on a windowsill has a strange way of turning into a shelf, then a corner, then an entire room dedicated to slightly different versions of the same spiky leaf. Let us know in the comments which variety you're growing. Thanks for watching.